Hi, everyone.
I was so tempted to put this one up in the intro. It's just really funny out of context.
Yeah,
hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
This is crazy, Mark. If your wife watches the show, you're fucked.
Why did you secretly watch the latest episode?
Because it's probably one of those situations where they have shows they watch together.
Oh,
you know,
you're cheating. Oh, you are cheating. Because now you have to pretend to be shocked at this very boring episode. That's amazing.
Just come out with it. Just blame us. You know,
but that's the advantage. Like, there's no ooh or ahs to put in because it was so fucking dull.
They are so short, right? What if it was a 5-minute just musical? They're so different than the Discovery one that was in my head.
Yeah, no, it really was. It needs a remake. It needs a so in Enterprise, one of the older Star Trek shows, it had like a musical, it had like a proper song. This has been a long road getting from there to here. That was the intro for like the first 2 seasons, and then in season 3 they added an electric guitar because it was too dull.
Oh no.
And it's just this like epic guitar solo in the middle of it. It's amazing.
Oh no. Oh no. When did this happen?
Did I do wrong? Well, no, I didn't. Okay,
What'd you do?
So at the end, for going into Resistance is Futile last week, I said black alert instead of red alert. But for
black alert is when you go to warp.
Yeah, but the
red alert is when there's an emergency.
But for the transition audio, I didn't switch it. I did the regular red alert instead of the funny Discovery. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I don't even know what it sounds like.
I do like it though. I do like it.
Happy belated birthday, Sarah.
Happy birthday. 4 Trek. Which 4 did you watch? That's amazing.
Also, please describe the fancy donuts. Because I love fancy donuts. I prefer Bavarian cream filled. The ones that are a bit like a pudding, they kind of have that. Yeah. It's not like a banana and it's not like a vanilla. It's some other flavor. It's probably vanilla.
It's a vanilla creamy custard. Yeah.
Is it vanilla? Is that the actual flavor of Bavarian?
Yeah, that's what I get when I eat
it.
I love people joining in with faith of the heart. People should have faith of the heart. They really should.
Yeah, it's vanilla.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
It should be vanilla.
So happy belated birthday, Sarah. I hope it was a good one. Birthday cake donuts, chocolate millionaire donut, strawberry and mango donut. Okay, but this gives me no information. I understand birthday cake. We don't need that one. What is a chocolate millionaire donut? Why is it chocolate?
The millionaire ones are the ones that have like, I think, caramel and like millionaire shortbread is like this caramel chocolate and then like crumbly thing at the bottom of it, I think.
Okay. So that's like a cake style that I just don't know about.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Because I think Sarah is in England. I think she hails from the United Kingdom.
Strawberry donut and a mango donut. Is it like a cake style donut or was it filled with like a strawberry cream? I'm wondering because I'm hungry.
Yeah, you need to stop this. You're just going to get even more hungrier.
My imaginary wife watches me. She supports me in everything, even with stuff she doesn't like and vice versa. Nice. It's a great, someday the imagination, like it'll come true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I believe. Ian, the UK and England are different things. Even I know this.
Wow. Who was it that said that? JCD. Thank you. Thank you. JCD,
no.
Tennessee.
I don't think I can see the links. Let me see if I can go into the Twitch
Wait,
on
is there a link?
Yeah, I think that's why we're seeing the little asterisks.
Oh, I'm not even seeing asterisks. Oh no, I am. Yes, I am. Here they are. You gonna share with the class?
I'm gonna see if I can go on through a different way to get those links. We'll see. Nope.
Link says here's a link.
God
if
damn
that
it.
helps.
Hi, Link. There's the link we were looking for. You're a donut. Today, Link is a donut.
Hey, I
Tomorrow,
got in trouble when
who
I
knows?
called people donuts.
I'm sorry. Yeah, our links just don't work.
That's annoying. Can you pull it up on Twitch and then, or is it not even doing it there?
Discord or something? I don't know. Does it matter? Do we really need to be working on donuts?
Yes.
Who knows?
Right now. Before I forget, because I forgot last week and I'm the worst and people will stop watching the show if I keep being so terrible.
I'm just going to keep eating in front of you guys.
Do it. We, Badgy Badgy. Beautiful composition of their pupper that Jinaal has been waiting so long. You ready for this?
And you waited until I ate. Okay, I'm ready.
This is the dog of the galaxy.
Oh, look at him! Get my face off of here!
Hang on a minute.
Oh, he's like a boxer-looking pup. Look, he's a little gubber. I want that dog. I'm gonna name. Okay, I'm doing a new thing now. You send me pictures. No, you send Ian pictures of your pet because that'll really annoy him. And then we'll pop him up on the show, and then I will name the pet appropriately.
There we go.
Because I don't know the name of this pet. Do you know this pet's name?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask, and I think I got told. Hang on a minute.
Is it in the email? Okay. I'm gonna get.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess / rename this dog. This dog's name is Supernova.
Amazing. The dog's
But
name.
we just call the dog Nova.
Okay, just call the dog Nova. Okay. Are you stealing that from Beneath the Planet of the Apes?
No?
Planet of the Apes? Because there's a lady that's called Nova in that movie.
I like that you assume that whenever I'm doing my job, I actually watch so closely.
Intently, you actually watch the whole thing. Yeah, no.
I know. Look at this. Oh, really?
I love the chest on like a boxer on that.
Is it a boxer? Am I right?
I think so. There's so much chest there to just like give scritches to. Would you like to know the dog's actual name?
My dog Patronus had like a white chest like this, and right at the apex of his chest bone, he had a swirl in his patterning of his hair. Like his hair kind of just swirled around, and it looked like so cute. I miss my dog.
The dog's name.
Thank you so much. This is what gives me lava powers and ice powers. If I turn it this way, it's ice powers.
Freezing.
Yeah. Okay, I got another dog's real name.
The dog's real name is Goose. What a good name for a pupper.
That is so funny.
What a beautiful pepperoni. Goose.
Oh, I can hear myself calling a dog named Goose.
Yeah, Goosey.
I mean, I really like the guesses too. Was the chat making guesses? Porthos too, or is that something else?
Porthos too. Porthos was a beagle. Mr. Woof. That's amazing. Porthos is the beagle that we talked about. When you like said you like guessed the plot of an episode, and I had to it's like say something that happens, and I relate it back to an episode of Star Trek, and you were like, a dog gets beamed onto a ship, and it was
Air.
Yeah.
Lodair, are you all right? My gosh, the passion here. Fucking reference. Is that how you said that? Did I emulate that correctly? My goodness. Oh yes. Well, there is one dog present today. The other one is firmly planted in the bedroom in his special spot. He did not want to be bothered. And I couldn't coax him in with a treat because I said the T word out loud. Dog owners know you never do that. Because I've already given them enough. This morning, the neighbor cat visited Thunderstorm. and we gave treats. I got liver treats for the cat because I was trying to figure out how I could feed him because he seems hungry. And I was tired of giving him pats of butter that I like to use for cooking. And milk, he wasn't interested in the milk all the time. He stopped being interested in the pats of butter. He wasn't interested in the cat food that I bought him. I have talked to the neighbor. I do know this is okay now, by the way. And so I had left liver treats, a few liver treats. And then he loved them. And so then I got more liver treats. But instead of the small size one, I got the really big fat ones. And so when he comes over, I'll plop a couple in his little special spot that I've made for him where he can drink his plant water and have his little treats and look out the window. And he has his little space and he's so happy. This morning, he ate 11 huge liver treats. He was so, so hungry. And so I had to also give the dogs some treats. I've been saying this T word so many times. And then I decided that my dogs were doing so good that I'd give him a carrot. He knows that word too. And so now we've had the cat is in the house.
Oh, is the cat still in the basement?
He's just been meowing. He knows. What if he comes in?
You should bring him in.
Okay.
He's all right being handled. We're finally going to see the cat. Finally. And yes, Lodair, where is it? Where did you say it? Where did you say it was you sweared about the Zenkathi? The fucking Zenkathi. You can never be too excited about the Zenkathi being referenced. They're finally being referenced. There we go. Yay! Okay, more importantly, cat.
Look at him. This is Thunderstorm.
Famous Thunderstorm.
He is so sweet. And I think he looks like he has like a little Minecraft on his head.
Oh, the little Minecraft symbol,
Mm-hmm.
Kidding me? Yeah. The dog's just like, why are you not holding me?
That's my spot. I'm the one that gets to go in there and see it. He is so sweet and big. Look at this big boy.
He's a big boy. He's a big old cat.
Look at your camera.
He's a big old chunk.
So the dogs had lots of treats, and I gave him a full, massive carrot. And so I need to go let him outside, though, because he's probably going to disrupt the rest of the show. So I'll go put him away. I did discover that he's not 10 years old. He's only 3. So we get to share the cat for a long time.
So many more years of you stealing him. That's amazing.
As long as they don't move, Although I wonder if she'd let me just keep it. These are things I shouldn't be thinking about right now.
Absolutely would. Yeah. Never say the word T out loud or the W word. Also can't say the B word, bar, because the dogs like to go to Wild Dogs, the local brew. That's amazing. We're going to the bar and the dogs just get your shoes and they're just ready to go. That's amazing. I love it. Yeah, I'm excited about the Zenkathi too. Maybe we'll finally get to see them. Danae, does he think you are his aunt on account of the ears? I think the cat thinks that Danae is his mum, legitimately. Like, that cat is very, very attached to Danae. Like, not so much interested in anybody else, but is very, very childlike to its new mum, Danae.
I'm back. What did I miss?
I talked about the Zenkathi and then started reading Lord of the Rings. Also, Badgy Combadge says, yes, Danae, he's a 6-year-old boxer, border collie.
Wow, border collie.
Yeah, imagine how that went down.
I guess you can kind of see it in the ears because they're more of a pointy ears.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? What is this comment about? Who's my sister? What did I miss?
They said I think Sarah said, does the cat think that you're its aunt because of the ears? And I said, no, that cat thinks Danae is its mum. Like, that is Danae's child.
This cat
it loves you so much. Yeah.
He owns me.
Owned. Such a good cat as well.
He's training me too, and I'm making terrible choices. It's like from a psychological perspective, when the cat jumps up on the kitchen counter and disrupts breakfast and starts to try to drink out of Iris's bowl and eat my oatmeal and lick the toast, I've made an error. I've already fucked up.
I've never seen a cat not do that though. Like I've never been able to train a cat to not do that. You just stop it when it happens. They don't care. I don't think it's because they're
so
stupid.
Different.
I think they just don't care.
It's been so long since I've had a cat around. When I was younger, I had them, but I was a kid and I wasn't paying attention the same way. And then, of course, I'm allergic to cats. But I haven't once sneezed with him, so I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's because he's an outdoor cat and maybe he does his business outside, and so there's not like the stuff in his paws the same. I don't know. Hi, Michael. Yes, you own dogs and a cat owns you.
That's the good description. Never.
Sci-fi brony. How dare you?
That's amazing.
Oh, man.
I have a request, Danae. I don't know if you remember this, but you gave us a jingle for episode 1 of Discovery. Season 5, episode 1. You gave us a jingle, and I want one for every single for every single episode. So here's the jingle for episode 1.
Season 5, episode 1, Red Directive.
It's amazing.
When did I do that?
You don't need to know. You should remember.
I don't remember shit.
I
barely remember what I did yesterday.
I have so much audio backed up where I'm just like, Danae won't remember doing this at all.
Is that, do I just need to do the same thing every single time?
I'd like something more like as catchy, but different.
Okay. Season 5, episode 2, 3.
Under the twin moons. It's gotta be a different cadence. It has to be different.
But this is episode 3.
Yeah, but you didn't give me one for episode 2.
Fuck off, Ian.
What? Wow, that echo. Why have I got an echo in this room? What happened?
That was amazing. That like permeated your ceiling. It bounced off of the rafters that have been there since like the first queen and came back down.
Like, Queen Victoria just like yelled that back at me. It's because I took a light bulb out and now there's a hole into my attic.
Oh my god.
Insane. Amazing.
Oh man. It is echoing off of the starships. You are not wrong.
Sorry, Sarah. I misread that. He's saying sing the titties. But no, sing the titles is what she said, not sing the titties. Nope.
Oh, man.
I at least need episode 3.
You really want me to just do it right now?
Yeah, do it.
Is it Jinaal? Is it Jinaal? Is it Janope? It's Discovery Season 5, Episode 3. And we say no. We didn't like it.
Golly.
Stop it.
Even started yet.
Quit it.
Golly.
It's filled with love. It's filled with laughter. If you think... No laughter. Oh, if you think Tilly is funny.
I do. I think Tilly.
So you can kind of cut out the no. You can cut out the no part and just go to the end.
I'm not cutting any of that. No. That's this. I'm not. I know this is. No,
there's no reason to have a 3-hour episode this week. Is what I'm saying.
No, there really isn't. Oh my goodness. We have a comment from Twitter/X. That's amazing.
Skip. Sorry. X. Yes, go back to Stead. Go back.
It does become a whole new show.
What did?
I don't know.
I don't know.
When you start singing, that's true.
Yeah, I guess so.
No. Yeah, there was a lot of skip this episode. It really was.
That's what I was doing in the moment, wondering. I was like, wait, when did I laugh?
Nope. Are you ready to go on 3?
Joe! Sorry, I didn't mean to scream your name out loud, but it just
always
erupted from my soul. There are certain names that when I see them on the screen, I get so fucking excited. I hope you're well, Pojo. You fucking god of a man. Okay, I'm ready.
Are we ready to do the show. You need to do your pre disclaimer thing.
Cool. Welcome to Captain's Pod Live. We are going to start recording the actual part of our podcast, which means we're not going to be able to talk directly to chat for just a little while. We'll come back and talk to you directly at the end of the show. So while the banner is sliding across the bottom, just know that we do see your comments and we try to put them up on the screen when they're relevant to our conversation, but there is a bit of a delay. So sometimes you say something brilliant and we've already said it. And it's not that we're stealing your stuff. It's that you're edifying what we've already said. But sometimes we do steal your stuff too. And sometimes we reference it. But if Ian's in charge, we don't, because Ian's the captain. And sometimes captains are dicks. Wait, that wasn't part of the intro at all.
No, it wasn't. That
wasn't.
Keep that though, because that was a good one. That was a really good succinct one. That's the one I can keep
good.
playing on a loop now.
No
exclamation mark live
loops.
show.
We are live on multiple places right now. And so if you would like to join the conversation in another spot, we are on YouTube on the CinemaSins Podcast Network channel. We're on the CinemaSins Live Twitch. The bulk of the commentaries that we see are usually kind of over there. So if you're wanting some company and you're on Twitch, you can go over there. I'm also casting it over to my personal Twitch just so that people can see that I still do release some content, although I'm not on Twitch playing games as much as I used to. And then we're also on X, on the Captain's Pod Twitter/X. So thank you guys for being here. Just a reminder, this is an R-rated show because that is where you have landed. So if you're uncomfortable with cursey words and adult conversations, I was just thinking about what we talked about before the show started. Penetration is just something that comes up on R-rated shows, And so I had a lot of questions about symbiotes. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So you're watching the live portion of the show. You can catch the full podcast and its edited beauty by looking at Captain's Pod on any of your podcast players of choice. And with that being said, I think we're ready to get started.
I'm like, who were you talking to? Because it wasn't me. I did not remember that coming up, but now I do.
It's just part of it.
It's just part of penetration.
I got a lot of questions. Just so many questions.
So many questions. I did a terrible job of explaining how the trill work. I apologize in advance to
Listen,
everybody.
marsupial pockets are real.
They are. Wetter than an otter's pocket. Okay, let's do it. Hoo-ha. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we take something from the replicator and discuss our thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched. Ambassador, what would you like to get us through this very exciting conversation we're about to embark upon?
I continue to only think about things that are consumable, even though you've given me freedom to replicate whatever I want.
Yep. I've given you the permission to speak freely.
I've got to go with glowing cave worm goop today.
Oh,
I want to taste it.
Yeah. No.
Yes. Because if I'm going to drink it, I'm going to taste it.
There's no need for that. There's no need. That's like saying I want to drink the bath water of somebody that I've just met. That's not the first thing that I think. No, apparently, Danae, it is. No, I want it because I'm pretty sure that I can put it into jars and then use it as a light source because I figure it's bioluminescent, and then I can just either sell it or like move it around into different places.
Yeah, I mean, drink it, bathe in it.
It's got to be healing, right?
It's got to be.
It's like that granola nonsense you're having.
It's symbiotic.
Yes,
that's a cool word, so it has to be.
Give us a symbiotopsis.
Oh, Symbionopsis.
Symbiotic.
Oh man.
No.
In today's episode, we learned that a cicada brood has evolved to shoot Barbie weapons. Barbed, not to be confused with actual Mattel Barbie.
How big are the cicadas in the Midwest?
And their evolution has also given them predator skin to protect their eggs. Why is this important? A red herring.
It is, yeah.
Will they survive? Yeah, because they're good. So they're going to get a weapon and prove that good can outweigh evil so many awkward glances that could mean other things from the characters. We don't know who is good and who is bad, really. Lots of things going on. Most importantly, Lock, Shock, and Barrel are already ahead of the game. They were in the red cape all along, bitches.
How did they get there?
The end.
Let's see. Overall thoughts and feelings, Ambassador. Did you have a good time with this episode? How is it coloring your view of Discovery?
If there's anything to really know at this point that I think isn't kind of important, it's that this episode will tell you how many different storylines are trying to wrap up. So the pacing on this one shifted from like pushing us through action into mystery solving and the action that was happening on Trill. And that could have been really fun and interesting, but I think that we got kneecapped a bit because we had so many different people. Why are we looking at Fred?
Not supposed to acknowledge it.
You know I love Fred. Why is he on the screen?
No, just don't acknowledge it.
Okay. It was kneecapped a bit because we were kind of flying from person to person to person to person to person to kind of get that screen time because we're in the final season. So I understand why they were doing
in different locations now.
This episode did not need Cebu at all. And maybe not even some other like particular components. I think seeing the first officer come on board is fun, but if this was my show, I wouldn't want to see the first officer because he's getting screen time that other characters I care about are not getting. So I think no matter like how you are interacting with this show, this episode might feel a little like go stop. Like it never really got up to speed for me. Was it bad? No, there was some really fun stuff in this. I liked the visuals. The bad cicada was really fucking cool. Like really, really cool looking. I loved that. And I liked the idea again of this mystery and the Trill, the like for me getting to kind of like learn more about Trill and how this being has information. That's a really clever way. But I feel like that there was just something kind of pacing wise that was a little bit too much. So I think I would have taken out the love story between what's it, Saru? Saru?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was waiting to correct you. It's fine.
Yeah. So I feel like if that wasn't there and we were just kind of on the mission, maybe this would have felt a little bit different. But every time we're just sweeping to the next scene, sweeping to the next scene, sweeping to the next scene. And so it just felt very much like in this scene, you're going to react to this. In this scene, you're going to do this. Now you're stuck in the crack of this wall. And instead of it kind of being something that could just be watched play out and get to sort of feel the fullness of a moment. And they're interjecting like a layer cake. Now we're going to cut over to this love story. And now we're going to cut over to this drama. And it was a little too much, I think. So in that way, it failed me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on this one. And my problem is that stuff with Saru and Tarina, there's nothing really cohesive that's pulling all of these different strands together. Maybe that will come later, but my fear is that this subplot with Saru being an ambassador and the Tarina marriage and stuff, it's just going to be that. It's just going to be a subplot that, looking back, maybe we could have just removed the entire thing and replaced it with something else, spent more time on the mystery, or just kind of done without it and made the episodes 10 minutes shorter. I'm not getting any like kind of a lot of satisfaction out of it. I'm not getting like a setup or a payoff from it. It throws the anchors out and just slows the episode right down because they're engaged and there's a conflict of interest and I don't need you to look after me and I'm a grown-up and I can make my own decisions. Cool, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Well executed, seen it before, done it. Like, this is the trap that Discovery keeps falling into for me, is that this emotional stuff is great. It's well executed. It's well acted, but it's not doing anything new. It's not doing anything that I've seen done so many times. And you're gonna
Yeah.
repeat stuff, that's inevitable, but this is so specifically repeating things that I've seen before. And it doesn't feel like it serves Discovery.
I think if they lean into this discovery of the weapon and this exploration of good versus evil and things, that it could really shine. But when you have a cast this large and you're in the season finale, we're probably going to feel this way most episodes, because they're trying to do a lot of different things to land in a spot that feels really wholesome. And so we're going to be given a lot to kind of chew on, because it doesn't need to sit in one thing at this point. It needs to be wrapping things up. So hopefully there's episodes that sort of don't do the textbook. Like, for example, the conflict between Saru and the president, that was just so forced. It's such an old, trope of creating this tension and this drama.
Like a sitcom trope.
That to me didn't really need to be there. I don't feel like, even as a new viewer, I need to have their relationship validated through a conflict resolution.
I don't feel there's growth there, and that's why you do it, is to get you tear them apart and then you bring them back together. But I don't feel they're any further along. So
could they have telegraphed that her right-hand guy that sort of created this drama, could they have done all of that in kind of like one succinct moment? I think they could. I think they can trust us to know that her right-hand man is maybe a little bit shady, and that's just to be expected, and give us the information about this, the Vulcan purists and things. So there's obviously, and then they're alluding that next week is maybe going to be a little bit more political, which I'm already like, oh man, I hope not, because they literally cut off the momentum of going on a cool adventure by saying we've been red taped. So it's just the whole episode, like,
yeah. And this is what I mentioned last week, was that these 10 episode seasons somehow feel like they could be 7 or 6 or 5, because the mystery, if you have to put in so many of these extra little romantical subplot things, I just feel like you don't just make a shorter season then. Like, don't feel like you have to fill the space. But what's frustrating to me is that you can absolutely fill the space as well. It doesn't have to be this. And the weird thing is that it is, like you said earlier, it's sidelining some of the crew. And they even say it out loud. Like, when Michael goes onto the bridge and starts naming everybody, she says, you'll get to see Detmer and Awaya Shakun later. Now, Detmer and Awaya Shakun have been there, I think, since episode 1. They are the 2 bridge crew that I'm most familiar with. And they're getting sidelined so that we can spend more time with characters that I'm just like, whatever. But it's just such an interesting way to put it together.
And this maybe will kick us off into our actual predictions, but I think it's clear that they want someone to die. And so rather than sacrifice someone that we like, they're bringing on the first officer to be that pony. To be that lamb, rather. I don't want sacrifice. Yeah. We shouldn't sacrifice ponies. The saying is sacrificial lamb. Hello.
Yeah, we should sacrifice lambs. That's absolutely fine.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
But it was. I mean, we're jumping all over the place a bit. But when Paul comes in and says this technology can resurrect people from the dead, and I'm like, right, well, who died that we want to bring back? Who's going to die that we can bring back? I mean, I think the only person it won't work on is Fred, and that's the only person that I want to bring back. But the problem with this is that now I don't care if anybody dies, because then I know the mission is going to be, we have to find a weapon so that we can bring them back to life.
That's definitely another prediction that we could think about too, is just the resurrection. Do you think that my prediction worked this week? I didn't. We didn't see the pile, but I think it works. I think I get a partial point.
Your prediction was that we'll see a big container full of symbiont worms.
I saw like a little crater of wormies.
I feel like containers need a top. It needs
no. I saw like a crater of wormies. And we were definitely in a crater. There was definitely a worm. It wasn't a pile, though. I wanted to see a whole pile.
Yeah, all of them. Oh, I was thinking more like a lab that has all of them on a wall.
No, I was
Okay.
thinking like their OG spot, which we saw it. It was just way more like spa vacation central rather than piles and piles of wormies.
You get half a point.
Thank you.
Get half a point.
I think that's true. I think that's right. I think that's the right choice.
I think I get 0.9 of a point, like really close, because my prediction was that Jinaal will be a person, and will not only be a person, but will be a true symbiont person. I just got it wrong that I wanted them to be Dax, and they weren't Dax. They were another very old symbiont, which makes sense for the way that they took this story, that Jinaal was part of this committee of scientists at the turn of the 2400s that was commissioned, 2390s, that was, 2380s. My apologies. What am I talking about, Danae? Of course it's the 2380s.
Of course, I knew that.
And they were sent out to discover more about the progenitors. They did. It went sideways. It killed a man, and they lied about it.
Let's
checks out, I guess.
I know it feels like we're like jumping all over the place, but I mean, if you've watched the episode, you don't really need too much of a recap, but that's more of an accurate recap than the one that I gave. In this episode, we really are looking at like they're going for that next clue. They meet this ancient trill, and the host says, "We tired. We're ready. We've just been waiting for a long time.
You've been waiting to die."
And then there's a ritual that pops the consciousness of the wormy into our doctor man, our psychologist, our counselor.
And doctor counselor.
And that brings out this interesting worm character. And then they go on a walkabout, which is a trap to sort of test their true self. We find out that the worm, I thought it was going to be a bit more nefarious than he was, it was. There was a vibe that the acting was giving that was like, I'm setting you up, and that of course kind of came
the deeper voice.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed that the worm admits that it would have let them die if they were looking like they weren't great people.
I really like the honesty that came with Jinaal. This almost like nothing to lose, which is very true.
Is the worm Jinaal, or is the person the trill Jinaal?
The worm is no. Sorry. The worm is Bix.
Bix. And when did we hear that? Just at the very end?
No, it was towards the beginning of the episode. So Jinaal Bix is their full name. Bix. So it's like carrying on a family name. Bix continues with the new host. But they couldn't just get this information out of Bix and the new lady host. They had to pull it out of the person Jinaal, which is why they had to do that ceremony.
Okay.
Put Jinaal into another person.
So Bix was feeling extra sassy.
No, Jinaal.
No, the worm inside the dude. When he went on his little wackabout, he got a new body and he went for his walk. He was feeling extra sassy.
Bix isn't in Dr. Kolber. Jinaal is in Dr. Kolber.
No.
Yeah, Jinaal is.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Let's roll back. So, each trill, once they're joined, becomes their own personality. So when Jinaal died, Bix got passed on to a new person, became a new personality.
No, I'm out. I'm done. That was confusing as fuck. Jinaal isn't a worm. Bix is a worm.
Jinaal Bix is the combination of both of them. So Jinaal existed before, took the worm inside his body, became Jinaal Bix, a unique individual. The next person to have Bix is also a unique individual.
And that's the lady named Jinaal. You just said Jinaal was already there.
The lady is different. The lady is different.
Who the fuck is the lady?
The lady is the next host for Bix.
What is her name?
I can't remember her name. It doesn't matter. But the point is that Jinaal Bix kept the information about the progenitors secret inside them. So they had to be pulled back their personality had to be pulled out to deliver the clue because they were the scientists that had the knowledge. So it's very unusual. You don't usually see previous hosts manifest. It has happened in Deep Space Nine in facets, but yes, it's quite complicated.
So, our doctor dude,
yes,
received what in his fucking head?
A personality,
Who?
A personality download.
Who?
Jinaal Bix. Jinaal Bix is the person, is the personality that was the scientist that went on this progenitor mission to find the weapon and found it.
What the fuck ever.
Yeah.
Okay. The mental gymnastics to try to follow any of this shit has sent me into a rage. I am so mad right now because it's like, how am I supposed to understand any of that? Number one, but number two, why wouldn't the wormy just like zhuzh on over there? Well,
apparently the worm isn't able to. Somehow Jinaal was able to keep the secret to themselves.
So Jinaal, who was a Trill, has become Super Jinaal and tucked his consciousness inside a fucking worm that can be pulled out later in a ritual if needed.
Well,
is that what you're telling me?
Everyone does that. Every Trill that has a symbiont does that. So
they tuck their memories inside the worm?
Bix is the culmination of all of the Trills they've been joined with before as well. Same with
and
Dax.
Also
they
themselves.
Change each time. And themselves, exactly. Yeah. They're an ever evolving being with conflicting personalities. Yeah, it's complicated. That's why Dax can act so young, but also act like 500 years old. I don't even want to talk to you about the Adira and Grey thing, because I dug back into that during the break, and that's even more complicated. But suffice to say, they used to be joined as well.
Well, that was kind of like hinted to. Like, we used to be together, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just assumed that they meant sexually.
No. So Grey hosted a Trill, a symbiont, a worm.
Hold on, you got to use very specific words here because there's so fucking much to think about. Grey
hosted a worm called Tal. Grey died.
We need a fucking flow chart.
Tal was transferred.
Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Grey, let's call them Mullet. Mullet hosted a worm named Tal.
Yes.
Next level.
Grey died in an accident.
Grey died.
Was transformed.
So the host died.
Yep, the host died.
Okay.
The worm was then transferred to
the worm named Tal died.
The worm named Tal was transferred to
out of the pouch.
Yep, out of the pouch into Adira,
which is the person that I was watching today with the shorter hair.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So now they've got the pouch worm.
So it's now Adira Tal.
So now it's Adira Tal. Okay. I'm here.
Now, Grey
dead
manifested inside of Adira's mind.
Which can happen because the worm has the ability to hold consciousness of previous hosts.
Exactly. So Adira was basically talking to Grey.
Because you're hosting a worm that has many personalities inside of it and also its own.
And this was a person that Adira was in love with. So
they're now in love with themselves.
We assumed that Adira was a bit loopy, but it turns out that
loopy.
That Grey was still alive and inside Adira's mind.
Okay, now. Okay.
So then Dr. Kolber.
So as an individual
person, an individual consciousness.
Remember how earlier we were talking about jellyfish and how like a little polyp pops off the side? So that's what happens. Like
that's what happens.
So what's the name of the Gray is just like, just kidding, I'm actually fully here.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And so, this was kind of a surprise to Gray as well.
In the brain.
In
Adira's mind, Gray has now separated from the sauce and is now individualized.
The worm, yes. Okay. And Adira's like super relieved, but how do we get you out of my brain? So
must be painful.
Right. Dr. Kolber is the first one that's like, I believe you.
Okay, now that's the person that was in today's episode that became the host.
Yes.
Okay.
He's like, I believe you. Let's figure this out. Now, to take you back to season 1 of Picard.
Okay.
Do you remember at the end of Picard?
I feel like I am growing a second person in my head right now.
Do you remember at the end of Picard, Jean-Luc dies, but they make a golem body.
Golem body, yes.
Dr. Kolber and Stamets pull the engineer, the blonde guy, the engineer.
Okay, yeah.
They pull out this technology and just like, hey, this one time back in the 2400s, they made golem bodies. They made this golem body.
Okay.
Made it look exactly like Gray.
Yep.
And then through a ritual on Trill, pulled the consciousness out.
Got the polyp off the side and shoved it in the golem.
Yeah.
Now, because it was a real person, this works.
Yes, let's say that.
But also, still inside of our Adira is the worm Gray mashup relationship.
Correct.
Person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they continued their relationship.
So that's why Adira is currently wormified.
Correct.
Because it wasn't taken out.
No, she's still... they are still Adira Tal. Yeah, they still have the worm.
Okay.
And Gray's just going to go off and live his best life.
It is no wonder they had great sex.
It's they're pretty in tune with each other, or they should be.
They know all their secrets.
That's basically what happened with that situation.
So they're like fucking themselves through each other's eyes.
Kind of more complicated.
Incredible.
Than that. Yeah. I
mean,
they
just broke
depending on
up.
how you feel about yourself, yes, it's incredible. Depending on how high your self-esteem is.
I can't believe I followed that. But you know how I did follow that? Because we did so much work to get there before. So thank you for sticking out with me.
Oh, you're so welcome. I love explaining it.
There has to be a flowchart for this out there somewhere for those of us that are trying to figure this out. Like,
it's so complicated. Like, this is pulling on some... Like, I'm actually thankful for it. I'm really... Because Trill is fascinating. And the symbiont process is so interesting. I'm really glad that we're pulling on it and developing on it, but my golly, is it dense for anybody not very literate with Star Trek. And I'm still getting stuff wrong, I'm sure.
Well, okay, so when we're going to Trill and Adele is seeing Mullet, then
Gray.
They haven't seen each other since the
end of season 4.
The incident where Gray was put back in Golem body?
No, they hung out on the ship for a while, and then Gray eventually left to do his own thing. Back on Trill.
Gray is a he? Gray is a he?
Gray is a he,
or they?
Yes. So Adira is they.
Okay.
Gray is transgender, actually in universe, and is he.
Okay. There's something really beautiful about all of that.
It's a great allegory. It's really, really great. It's just hard to explain it.
And I wish that the episode would have spent more time, not explaining it. Like, obviously, that's not this episode's responsibility to explain all of that to me, the new viewer. Like, that's what these conversations are for. But there's a way to develop a lot of the momentum of what this series is trying to do with this weapon and everything, like inside that place, inside these rituals and inside this area on this planet. You know, there's even like more of a offhanded casual mention of like, oh, don't mind those dinosaur cicadas, they're that's really interesting. Yeah, we do get to see them, but like there's so much there that's really, really beautiful and interesting.
Yes. Well, back in the day, and not to get, oh, old man yells at cloud, but you have A plot and then you have B plot. This has got the stuff with Adira and Gray, the main plot with the puzzle piece with Michael Burnham. Then you have the grumpy new commander and what he's doing with the crew, and then you have Saru and Rena and all of that stuff. So that's 4 different plots happening at once.
Plus, you've got Booker and his sister.
Yeah, but this episode has 4. Just do 2 of them properly. Like, I get that you need to jump backwards and forwards from place to place, but when you do this many, I don't think you're doing all of them the service that they deserve. And any one of them can be entertaining, but it's just so much. And I think that for me, the Adira and Gray thing was kind of satisfying because they had a very honest conversation about where their relationship is, and like it can look like a different thing, but Adira also saying, yeah, I know that, but it's also not what I want. Do more with that. Like that is new. That's a conversation that I don't often actually see on TV.
Well, and then that awkwardness of a breakup. I've had the awkward breakup conversations before. I think we probably all have. And there is a moment where there's like many ways to break up. And I think one of the ones we usually see in media is something bad has happened. It's pretty clear that someone was in the wrong. There's a blow up. It's like, you did this, and so it's resulting in this decision. But we don't usually get to see the awkward, real conversations that happen when you're not trying to break up on bad terms. You're just trying to call it what it is, that this isn't working and I kind of don't know how it's going to work. And rather than staying in the lingering state, let's just release this and kind of move on.
Yeah.
And this was that. And I don't think they spent too long on it. I was more uncomfortable in the forced drama on the Saru side of things, but I didn't mind it. And it was also like, are we going to try something different? And just that recognition of like, I don't really want to. I don't want to try something different. I think it's just time for us to care about each other in the best way that we know how, in this new kind of way, which I thought was a really healthy. I don't think that Discovery is doing like unhealthy relationship examples either. Because I totally believe, for example, the first officer, which his name is Raynor, is doing like terrible things. Because I
agree with him.
He's not wrong. The dynamic of a leadership, there's a leadership and then there's relationship. And there is such an interesting sort of, there's different ways of being a leader.
Exactly. There's different ways to command the ship. You don't have to. And like they will tell the second that you stop being genuine and true to like your instincts, they'll spot it a mile off. Like, this is the human thing of like everyone needs to abide by these set rules and blah 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 and morality and ethics, etc. But Raina, like, she's not even taking into account maybe his species culturally. Maybe this is how they lead. Maybe this is how they do things.
Let me say, too, I paid more attention to the ears, and I see what you're saying. One side is definitely like more like up, like looks like a razor just cut it. The other side is like a little bit different. So now I know what you're talking about. I thought that he was like a war-torn thing and like something happened to him. But yeah, I think it's definitely more intentional. Ears. I was paying way more attention this time because I was really.
And it is way more important than what I was saying. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I wanted to just get that in there.
But yeah, I found that incredibly frustrating because I was like, Rainer's, let him be. Let him lead how he's going to lead.
Yeah, and I think that he has that Shaw-esqueness, which we talked about when we were watching Picard. And if you guys were listening during our Picard seasons, we had like a love relationship with this character that was unapologetically by the books in a lot of ways. And I kind of get it. I love watching a character that just says, I'm not going to spend my time walking around a ship that I don't need to see. You can bring them to me. And he takes leadership in this different way. Now, is there going to be conflict between he and the captain about that? Potentially, but I'm also kind of curious how the Discovery writers are going to decide what we're spending time on. If they're going to spend the last episode, I was hoping that we weren't going to see a lot of conflict. This episode, we saw none of that because they weren't on the same ship. So are they going to bring that back
coming,
around?
I'm sure. That's probably deliberate because it's coming.
But I really hope not, because hopefully she knows this about him, and he did make an effort. He did pull out the information he needed to pull out. Was he just repetitive and repeating it back to Tilly in a new way that said that he got to see some insight into these people's character? Yes, but that little montage of learning these random facts, that was brilliant for a lot of reasons. One, I don't want to spend the entire episode walking around trying to have fake conversations and a fake happy smile. This was way better. And I loved, like, in 20 words or less, tell me something about yourself. And there was that hit back to back of them giving like incredibly random facts about different things that they had done or seen. And I kind of wrote them down as they went because they were so funny. There was the ship nerd. There was the worst thing that was seen in sickbay, the bluff master at Tongo or whatever. Learning that they reproduce asexually and they're raised by a community and laid 3 clutches. Like, that was so fucking funny.
We know more about saurians than we do humans.
And now we know that it was a pet tribble that was neutered. That was brilliant.
I'm so glad they brought that up.
Brilliant. We talked about that. Exactly. It was so funny. And then you've got Tig Notaro, which I can't wait to talk about her, but Tig saying, last time I did this, it gave me chips. Like, that was so funny.
So great.
And then the last person said something like, I'll just save my drag story for next time. And that was really drag racing, I think is what they said.
And I was hoping it was a drag race story.
Me too. I went straight to RuPaul on that one.
Yep.
But then that sets up this beautiful punch for Tilly, and she just lands that scene of telling him what she thinks, which leads to another conversation. Yeah. And this is where I hope that the Discovery viewer that's used to this series isn't annoyed by his presence. I'm hoping that it amplifies sort of a different look around the crew, a different way for them to kind of like present themselves, their personality, what makes this ship crew unique. I'm loving it because he is my view into the ship. Like, as a new viewer, it's nice to see a character that's also new, because we kind of want someone to relate to, and I am going to be able to meet the crew through Shaw or Rayner.
Rayner. No, I get it. I do. And I don't, it's completely within Tilly's character to be a little bit high and mighty, and to, not high and mighty, but to teach a bit of empathy and to be the one that's more familiar with the crew and to be a bit protective as well. I'm just like, I hope Rayner doesn't feel obligated to change. Like,
I don't either.
My friend.
I think if
lead how you lead.
I think by the end, if he's still alive, he will join them at the table, and that will be the symbol. Because in this episode, he stays at the bar and watches them go off, and I think maybe by the end, he'll be like, "Oh, I can have more of a relationship." He'll warm up, or he'll be dead.
I think that what I hope the show does is that it shows his care and loyalty in a different way. So it's like, I won't sit at the table with you, like Captain Picard. I won't sit and have a drink with you, but I will defend you, and I will give you your space to speak, and everybody will be treated with respect and dignity, and I'll die to protect all of you. Like, that's what I would prefer.
He doesn't have that respectfulness. I didn't really feel like Rayner has that, because he's cutting them off and giving them such little time. But there is that balance of like Picard, where he would give them the time of day. Rayner is work-minded and kind of by the books. Like, the way that Rayner seems to be serving these people is to constantly be trying to solve this puzzle in his head.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that the show is telling him through the characters coming into these real quick little scenes. It's so smart. We saw that he's like, so-and-so and so-and-so just arrived at such and such section. Like, lock, shock, and barrel, they've arrived at Lyric.
Wherever, yeah. I can't believe you remembered that. That was amazing.
And the person that is walking in the room on that particular scene, which it might have been with the rent guy when he was excited about, like, the discovery. of this, the weapon, and kind of learning about everything through like the Romulan scan of that weapon.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, a quick mention from, I think, Tilly says, yeah, I know that already because so-and-so told me.
Yes.
So it's letting us know that this character, his worth and his value is he's learning where he's actually needed, because he's been told you don't need to do this, but he has to figure that out himself.
He's got to be proactive. Yeah, he's a doer.
And if they're going to give him the character growth, that episode is honestly all I need. I don't need to see him continuing to learn that they're very efficient and they already know these things.
Mm-hmm.
I need him to figure out how he's going to serve. How is he going to justify that he's spending his time basically doing the work that someone else is doing, which is what he's already been told.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really curious where they're going to take this particular character. The rest of them, I hope that those who are watching it and have been watching are excited to see where they're going. But like for me, getting to see the fish guy a little bit more was really delightful. And we got to see some really interesting characters.
Linus.
Like, oh yeah, Linus. And then like around that council room, if there was any reason to go over to the council stuff for me this time, besides the setup for later on, like you're assuming, as we got to that really cool dinosaur looking head guy. That was so cool, that prosthetic.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That kind of more reptilian.
It was huge.
It was so big. And then there was that really awkward one that looked a bit like almost wormy, but like with holes. Oh, there's some really cool prosthetics.
Considering they're not on screen very much, like the prosthetic work
good.
is incredible. Even the Ferengi that we just get a passing shot of, I'm like, you spent so much time getting into that Ferengi outfit, and you're just like, here's your drink. That's it, done, no more. So great. Just to wrap up on the Rayner point, my last thought on it is that there's something I really like about. And I feel like this is where Rayner is going, is that I don't need to know your hobbies. I don't need to know anything about you to work with you and to respect you. Like there's a little bit of it that's almost insulting, whereas like I'll care about you more if I know what your hobbies are. No, you're a living being. I don't care what your personal hobbies are. I don't care what you do when you're off the bridge. I'm going to treat you exactly the same, regardless of how I might relate to you. Like that distance, I kind of like that because it means everyone's equal. Everyone's on the same. Nobody, because what if one of them accidentally has the same favorite author as him? Like he wants to avoid unconscious bias. I like that leadership style feels like it's a way of avoiding connection and bias so that he can serve everybody equally, is my instinct.
I really hope he uses the information. For example, everything that he's learned about these individuals, if there's a moment in this series end where he needs to encourage them that they can do their jobs or that they're going to rise to the occasion, he's the kind of person that'll hold that little bit of information in his mind and say, you can do this. Even your neuter tribble believes in you. These kind of.
He's got a spreadsheet that actually he plugs all of this information into. He's a great networker.
I hope the crew comes to appreciate that every kind of style has a place. But I'm digging that character. I think that they did a really good job. The sets continue to be really, really beautiful. Even though the pacing was start and stop for me, this did its job. We felt like we were ahead of the bad guys, but then we found out that we're not. How'd you feel about that?
Nice little twist ending. I liked that. I was thinking, it's so funny when Gray was doing the narration wrap up of the feelings, which happens at the end of a lot of Discovery episodes. It was like, what this episode was about? It's about this, and now I'm going to tell you what the episode is about. And that's usually Michael Burnham doing a log, Tilly doing a log. And I tell you, thank you for spoon feeding me the moral of this episode. Thank you so much. So I was thinking that, man, another show, there would be like some turn that happens at the end here and something to get us a little bit more hooked. So I love that Mole turns up and she's there the whole time.
She was the whole time. I don't know if she was there the whole time.
Oh, yeah, she was.
How did she get there unknown?
Sneaky people.
They're
hanging out in the polarity of the planet and snuck down through a spatial cluster.
I don't know. I know the show is probably not going to go back and tell us. I hope that they do in a way, because that to me is a real big question mark. Like, when they entered that planet's atmosphere and attempted to kind of even beam down or do anything respectfully, like they were completely denied. So they did say that it's a huge planet. So there's a chance that they were able, like you said, to sneak in somehow. And they do have a lot of interesting tech that they can use to cloak and various things. So great, they get down. But Maul was also down there in costume around people who are all in this Trill cult together, and no one noticed that she, well, it looks like very cult-like, like the robes and stuff. And there's lots of candles. I mean, that's a clear indication that you're in a cult. If you walk into a cave that's completely lit by candles, like you're in it.
Yeah, I take it back.
So no one noticed that, number one, Maul isn't someone they recognize. Number two, Maul doesn't have any, the fingerprint of the Trill on her face.
She's got the hood. The hood just covers everything.
Number three, how the fuck did she know what she was supposed to do during the ritual, doing all the hand gestures? She's just super adept at like what? So
lots of research,
I guess, or luck. But anyway, what do you think that Maul did to the whole, like, what, a tracking device? Do you think
a tracking device? 100%. Yeah, it's a tracking device because they couldn't get her and her partner couldn't get the information. It's a tracking device, and then
that's kind of what that was my first thought.
Yeah, I imagine.
Oh, it wasn't my first thought. It wasn't.
What was your first thought?
My first thought was that she was being wormed.
Oh, stealing a worm?
No, that she was like, someone was putting one in her without her knowing it. Like it was like a little bitty, tiny little baby wormy thing. But turns out they've already got one, so they don't need to.
You got very, very excited, and I can't believe I didn't mention this last week. Actually, I can, because she didn't turn up. But Jet Reno, aka Tig Notaro, comes in.
Love Tig Notaro. I got so excited. There was a podcast that Tig did. Does she identify as female? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I think so.
I think so too.
I think I've looked this up, and she does.
Yeah.
If not, I'll edit around this.
No, I think, listen, we're not going to get things right all the time, but just know that I'm very respectful of people's preferences for how to be spoken to. But anyway, spoken about and what defines them. So I would try really quickly to look it up, but
chat is confirming that she does. Yes. I'm sure I'd looked this up, and she does.
So I was listening to Professor Blastoff, which back in the day was a podcast that she did with an incredible cast, and it was on the Earwolf Podcast Network, and you'll recognize Kyle Dunningham and David Huntsberger. So Kyle, I think, does the voice of one of the characters on Invincible.
Oh, that's fun.
You probably would recognize. No, I'm wrong about that. Nope, that's a different podcast. That's the movie review podcast.
Okay, backpedal.
Anyway, she did a podcast called Professor Blastoff, and I just happened to be listening to it when she was talking about her comedy that she released when she had cancer. Have you ever heard about this?
I know that she had cancer, yes.
But she did something that was absolutely shocking in that she did a set where she just comes out and says, I just found out I have breast cancer. And
wow.
And the set is her talking about it. And
that's
like
awesome.
Almost in the moment, in a way. I know that some of it was probably prepared. And of course, any performer is somewhat prepared for, just about anything.
Yeah.
But it really launched her out into a lot of people's conversations because of how raw and honest it was, and how she was using humor, and she was going through cancer treatment. And so Professor Blastoff was kind of the podcast she was just doing with her friends while all this happened. So I kind of got to hear her personal approach to all of that through the podcast. And so I've really liked her a lot because of how she talks, how she processes, her communication style. Obviously, her humor is really fun. She's really sarcastic and straightforward. And that was one of my favorite podcasts. And they eventually had to stop doing the podcast because they had careers and they kind of moved on to other things. But I don't know. There's like this kind of moment where I was like, holy shit, I love her.
That's such a nice treat. And you'll be happy to know. I mean, you can probably tell even from the snippet that we had in this episode, they really let Tig be Tig in this show. Like that dry humor and the sarcasm. She's very much, I don't give a shit and I'm excellent. And I think she pops up at the end of or midway through season 2. But she's like in every few episodes. She'll come in to deliver some inspiration, be really dry about it, and then say, "I'm going to get a beer. Fuck you guys. I don't care." Yeah. She's so great. Every scene that she's in, she fucking steals. She's so good.
Well, I went from Professor Blastoff, that like those episodes of her exploring and talking about all this, straight over to that comedy special. I would highly recommend it for anybody, but especially if you yourself are going through something that's really traumatic. Listening to somebody process it and be so raw and try to like, I don't know. It's an experience I didn't really expect to have, but she does it with levity. And there was a lot of respect. I just instantly found out, I was like, oh my God, I was there when this happened, but not, I wasn't there. I was part of your listening audience. And I know Tig watches this show, so thanks for watching, Tig.
We can hope. Please mention something in the chat. Please come and say hi.
I actually thought that you were going to bring up me freaking out about Booker's fucking forehead. Can we talk about that?
That was my next point.
What is going on? What is happening? I thought he was a human.
There's only so much I can like fill in. We've deliberately not just got like a pot of history.
Stop it. Listen.
What?
You explained worm trills to me. I believe you can do everything. So is this. He mind melded with blinky forehead powers.
I'm explaining why this is a surprise, like why I hadn't explained it previously. But yeah, Book isn't human. He's Quaishon, and Quaishon, and basically they're a race of people. They have their own planet, they're their own species.
Okay,
and they're druids. So they have this.
I want to be a Quaishon.
You do. You absolutely do.
Oh, this is so cool.
Have this really symbiotic relationship with their planet and with the creatures on it, and they can empathetically connect and telepathically connect to animals.
With little bunnies
as well, and with bunnies, with cats. Yep. Until they all got wiped out last season.
What?
Yeah, season 4 kind of kicks off with them all getting murdered by an anomaly in space. Yeah, I think there was a lot of damage. I don't know if they all died, but they really got fucked up. Yeah, I think there's some of them left, but most of them are dead.
Star Trek, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, they're a really cool species.
Why did they do that?
Yeah.
Why would you fuck with druids like that?
Because of your reaction. Because they're a really cool species, and they're one of the few that we really got to know about in season 3, because we don't know about them in Pike times and Picard times. This is a species that's been discovered way in the future.
This is so sad.
Yeah.
How many are left? How many?
I'm gonna say 4. There's not many.
This is like hearing about like how few sea turtles or rhinoceros are left on the planet.
Yeah, endangered species. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Why isn't Booker going and finding his fellow people and just fucking having babies?
I assume he's found them. There's only 4 to find.
Why isn't he having babies?
Yeah, he should have some babies. He should continue. Yeah. But great species. Yeah, so he's trying to, and apparently this connection works with other beasts as well and other species. Yeah. Most interesting thing about him.
Oh my God! Prediction. What?
Yes.
He's going to use it to bring back his planet.
Oh, fucking hell. Of course he is.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you know what? Good. Because the druids should come back. I just found out about them. They have to be.
I just told you about them, killed them, and then you brought them back.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yes.
So I guess Discovery! You liked that power. You liked it.
Woo! Well, this has been a great show, everybody.
It's amazing. I do have to say, I love the big waspy, cokey creatures. They
cicadas.
were so fucking cool. Really, really cool alien design. Love, 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 love that.
Do you know what a cicada looks like?
No idea. I'm assuming a bug.
Can I so I have to show you something because this is completely not relevant to the podcast and I'm going to derail us. No, I'm not. I'll talk about it in the after show.
Do it. Dr. Go says, hi, went to sleep at 6 a.m. Central, woke up today screaming. So thank you for being a great alarm. Guess this will be my day while I get ready for work. Welcome.
Oh, well, why are we on in the background of your sleeping? That's pretty fucking cool, actually.
Pretty alert. Go to
Go
sleep.
back to sleep. Go to sleep.
Season 5, episode 1. Red Directive.
We have totally. This is. We are not supposed to do this right now. We're supposed to stay on the show.
Okay. I have a way back in. So we had a couple more callbacks. We had a Dominion War callback, which explains why Jinaal was reluctant to share this with the Federation because he was worried that while the galaxy was at war, that it would be used for inconceivable means. And essentially, yes, I think the Federation would have used it for to wipe out the enemy.
What a bunch of dicks!
He made the right call. Yeah. The ritual itself, which puts Jinaal into Dr. Kolber.
No. Jinaal Worm.
Jinaal Bix, correct. Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Stop making this more confusing for me.
Yep. Sorry. That's used in an episode of Deep Space Nine called Facets, which is really cool because all of Dax's previous personalities and hosts are put into the crew. So one goes into Cisco, one goes into Kira, one goes into O'Brien, one goes into Bashir. It's a great episode. I love it.
So we'll talk about show later. Can we, like, after the show is over, just talk about this because I have so many questions.
Do it.
Okay.
I mean, I'll ask him now. People probably want to hear it.
So how long can this go on? How many personalities can fit into a worm?
Well, it gets complicated.
Well, yeah.
There isn't we don't know. So we found out in this episode that Adira said that it was the 800 years old was very old, but not unheard of. So the upper limit appears to be however many you can fit into 800 years. Now, you could live for like 100 years because I think they have the individual Trill have a similar lifespan to humans.
Okay.
But it can be cut short by like an accident, and then the symbiont, the worm, is the thing that can survive. So around about 800 years.
Next question. Can the worm survive if it's thrown back into the magical pool?
I think so.
Or can it just go on the carpet and not get bogged down and grow shag?
So it can't survive outside of a host unless it's in the pool or immediately transferred to another host.
Okay. So it is limited by drying out, essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes, like, you have to go through all of this training and psychological evaluations, and sometimes it sends them loopy. Like, one of the Dax personalities ended up being a murderer, and then they buried that personality inside of them so that the future hosts couldn't remember being a murderer.
Okay, so then if they can do that, why wouldn't they just keep going and then just bury the ones? Kind of like whenever you you collect a pair of shoes over the course of your lifetime and you just you know what, I don't use all of these, and you just have to get rid of them. And sure, there's nostalgia involved. Sure, you remember all the places you walked in those particular pair of shoes, but you know what? You only have so much room, so it's time to go old sneakers.
What, and go into one of its older hosts?
No, just bury it. Why don't I just bury it?
Bury the
and then
worm?
Just stay alive even longer. You don't go cuckoo bananas because that personality has now been archived.
But they did, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, why not keep doing that? And then it's not. It's not like
beauty.
It's not like 8 to 10 generations. No.
And you're just like everyone else.
You're like a worm. You just want to live forever, and you have
everybody.
You have pick of the crop. So then, you got a Danae, right? And then you've got like an Ian, and then eventually you only have so much RAM. You've got only so much memory, so you're going to archive one of us. Which one? I don't know. Probably me.
The one with the most chaos. Yeah, the only reason Ian can't survive is because there's too much Danae. That's amazing. So there was one other callback, which was at the end of the episode, which made me very happy. They are heading off to see the Zenkethi. So the next clue is taking them to see the Zenkethi.
Okay, and is this one? I guess what a Zenkethi is?
This is a species that
the title tells me that these are. It's a woman. It's a woman's title. It's a women's planet. And they're very zen.
Title?
They're zen because they're Zenkathis.
Women are more zen than men?
No, it's just Zenkathis. They're Kathy.
Oh, Kathys. They're all called Kathy.
Yeah.
Yep. Very zen mums.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy's such a mum name.
Well, I mean, like, it could be a mum name. Could be an aunt.
No, that's not, funnily enough, what they are. They're a species that was only mentioned in a couple of episodes of Deep Space Nine. We know very little about them. They've popped up in a couple of books as well. And yeah, I'm excited to see them. And apparently they're like reptiles of some description. And
bring on the prosthetics.
Yeah, they have like an autarch, like a queen of some sort.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm excited to actually see them and go into Zenkethi space.
Okay.
Cisco fought them a couple of times.
I don't know. We know we're supposed to get there, but there's red tape. So
yeah, there's a red tape.
Be...
It's just interesting that in the 3200s, 32nd century, they're still not friends. They managed to, or maybe there was an alliance and they fell apart. But I was hoping for the Tholians, but the Zenkethi will do.
I was hoping for a Romulan, but we did see a side face of a Romulan. No, not a Romulan. A Ferengi.
Ferengi. Yes, we did see a Ferengi. Yeah.
That was cool.
I do, before we get into the sins, I do have a correction from last week. T'Ring is complete Vulcan. She is not half Vulcan. She is not half Romulan.
Oh, okay.
She is complete Vulcan, and she's the president of Nivar, which is the merger of the Vulcan and the Romulan people, not the president of the Federation.
So she's the president of the planet that is Vulcan and Romulan, because there is no Vulcan planet because Vulcan was obliterated.
Not in this timeline.
What?
Romulus was obliterated in this timeline.
Romulus was obliterated in this timeline.
Yes. And Tarina, not T'Ring. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Tarina.
Tarina.
Trina. Just call her Trina.
Oh. Okay.
That was my correction for last week. So yeah, no more Romulus. Vulcan is still there.
This is going to be about recreating planets. The good guys would bring back the Druids. The bad guys would bring back Romulus.
Oh, that's not... I'd bring back Romulus.
I mean, I would too.
Are way more fucking cool than the fucking Druids. This is when Danae quits the show. Right. That's everything. Overall, for me, I'm going to be kind. It's 2.5 pips from me. It progresses the story. We don't keep holding on to the mystery. We get a little bit more about what happened in the 2370s and the progenitors. We get what the weapon is kind of for, what the tech is. We have the next bit of the clue. Bogged down by some unnecessary emotional stuff, even though I like probably 50% of it. Yeah. Mixed bag.
How when we watch TOS, we sort of really look at it from a different angle because of the time that it was shot in. And so I'm kind of doing the same thing with this one. Mm-hmm. And I'm taking into account that they're really attempting to touch on, keep alive, wrap up so much. So they're really doing a lot of heavy lifting. I don't think that's an easy thing to do as a writer or a producer. It is a beautiful show. Everyone is acting well. I love the costuming. Sincerely. Yeah, the costuming and the sets and the CGI is just so fun to watch. I think it feels clunky because it's a big show.
Yeah.
The big ding for me is going to be how they're weaving the pieces together. It's almost like every time we go to commercial break, when someone comes back, we want to see a little bit of every story. Like the idea is that they want to, during this commercial break, we want to make sure we hit on every single story. So we're going to cut to all these different kind of components. And I think that is my biggest problem. I feel like if it had been put together in more of like a short story form, where we're just kind of like staying with certain aspects and getting into the feel of it a little bit more, I'd like it more.
Yeah.
So that's why it's firmly a 2 for me, is I feel like we're in modern enough times that we should be able to tell stories like a little bit where it doesn't feel so start-stop, but it's still so
totally
beautiful. And so I want to give it like more that 3 range. So yeah, 2, 2.5, something like that.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one final nod to Wilson Cruz, who actually did a great job, like acting as Jinaal Bix. He's a Dr. Colber.
I really liked that. Yeah.
Sure went into. Yeah, he was really, really cool.
Yeah, that moment when he's like, this guy really works out.
Have you seen Wilson Cruz topless? He's very body positive, and he is muscly as fuck. That guy is ripped.
Do you feel like that was an libbed line?
Whether it was ad-libbed or written ahead of time, he definitely read it and went, thanks, guys. I know, you know, I know. I imagine he like kind of walks around topless. He is a beautiful specimen of a man. With that, let's head over to engineering. Red alert. This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sin brains and remind ourselves that no TV show is without sin. Even our beloved Star Trek. Ambassador, go first.
I mean, we definitely have the can't beam out for reasons cliche going on here. And for me, that was like the biggest problem, watching Book and Michael get stuck in that crevice and then knowing that they could just step out and beam away and not even interact with the cicada.
Yeah.
I know what I want to get the name of that creature right.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I should have noted it down, but I forgot.
I wrote it down. An Edgernock, I think it's called.
Edgernock?
I think that's what it was, yeah.
It's amazing.
I really I was really annoyed by that. Now, having watched the episode, I know it's because they needed to communicate and prove their worth. But in a real situation, you would just get the fuck out of there. You would step out of the crevice, tap your little badge, and get the fuck out of there.
My how this should have gone is that when Jinaal says we need to do this in the morning, they leave with him, because I'm like, what's the rush? Just do it in the morning.
Just do it in the morning. That's another sin for that moment for me too.
He clearly knows that shit's going down right now. Let's come back in the morning. Like, that's fine. You don't need to force your hand right now, other than you do because you have to prove your worth, which you don't know that you have to do. Yeah, that was kind of crazy to me. And ordinarily, I'll give the transporters a pass because just for the writer's sake, yes, in theory, they never have to walk anywhere. They don't have to run. They can just pop, pop, think about it and go that way. But you rescind your free pass, your get out of jail free card, when you tactically use them in a fight, like we saw Booker do it. He's thinking about it. He's like, okay, I'll pop over here and I'll distract them. Then I'll jump off this rock, I'll run, tap, tap, and then grab it. Now I have to ask, when you got impaled in the leg, why Burnham didn't tap, tap you away then? Like, why aren't you using this more? Because I've seen you do it now. I know that you don't mind doing it. I know this isn't a power drain issue. I know it's not because you're all very health conscious. It's purely because you needed them to be stuck. Like, that's when you open yourself up to the sin. Using a thing and then suddenly not using it.
But then how you just think your location? Because if that's true... Oh, we don't know. Okay,
I have no idea. Because I guess they're looking and then just thinking like that way.
Because there's no
route that we found in Minecraft. Anywhere, like fucking,
you could be anywhere.
You could be underground.
That's right. We don't know. I was curious about that because I understand that this consciousness inside of the Doctor wants to take a walk, but and we understand now that it's because there's a development to the building of the psychological test of their worth and their goodness. So like there's a reason for this walk, right? And it's very ominous and it's very clear that something is going to happen.
Yeah.
But if they know that they have a way to I almost said teleport I'll just say
Fine, I'll let you have it.
Zip from one place to another by thought, then they should have said in that moment, we have the technology, just think it and you'll go there. But I guess since the show isn't telling us that, that's just another sin,
Yeah, super sinful. Just
super
I don't know how it
sinful.
works unless it's telepathic. It just has to be. I think it's your turn now.
Cool. I'm gonna find something, I think.
We have so many in the live chat.
Oh, there's so many in the live chat. I feel like I would be better to do that. Is 500 million square kilometers like as big as, because
it's the same size as Earth.
Okay.
Earth is also 500 kilometers, 500,000 square kilometers.
It does feel like that's a lot. And Earth is pretty big.
No, it's a big.
Earth is big.
But it's not like, it's also M-class, which usually puts you in a range of size based on like density and whatnot. But it did feel weird that they pointed it out as being large, when I was like, oh, wow, maybe Trill is way bigger than... Oh, no, it's the same size as Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're just saying that in general, this is a lot of space to be searching. So
okay, which is true.
Yeah.
Ooh, the caves of Makala. Sorry.
Caves of what now?
That was where they went.
You make so much better notes than I do.
Oh, you want to see my notes?
I bet it's...
I wonder if I could show... I bet
a lot of it is just, how do the Trill work?
Like, this is my notes.
Ships. That's how my notes started as well.
Look at how much I write.
You write so much more than me.
Look at this.
I wonder you can't find anything.
Shut up. Look, it's still going. You want the last speech?
Gosh.
Here it is.
Wow. Yeah, no, I have like 10 bullet points.
look right here. Lovebirds, him, puzzle. She's a Vulcan meditating.
Yes.
Ritual is over. Wormy swims along.
Yeah, bloop, bloop, bloop. That's amazing. Bye, Wormy. That's beautiful.
Did you like seeing that?
I love that.
Was that kind of cool? Okay.
What, the worm?
No, my notes.
Oh, your notes? Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly what I expected. My next scene, and this blew my little mind, was when Adira was like, hey, I guess I'm getting some time off after this mission. What do you mean you're getting time off? You're not getting any time off. This is a puzzle mystery thing.
You're gonna die.
The clock to find something that could end existence as we know it, and you know that there are other people searching for it. There is no time off. Discovery's not just going to hang about in orbit for a couple of days. Why does she assume she's getting time off? What a weird thing to say.
Because the show wants us to know that we know that it knows that it's ending. Okay.
Just insane. I think everybody should die. It's just insane.
I want to give a send-off for this one shot of Saru walking after he's pissed off his soon-to-be wife. He's walking down the hallway towards her. Mm-hmm. And the camera is kind of on the floor, sort of looking up a bit and into the distance. And so you really have this feel of how tall and lanky he is.
Yes.
But when he walks with his arms slightly behind his body.
Yes.
With this little wave of his hands as if he's in the water. It's
amazing.
So fun. It was just this little bit of character work that I so appreciate, because those little details just give you an information about his aquaticness or something. Like, it was really fucking cool. Anyway,
I am so glad you mentioned that, because that has been consistent from day one. And I think this is a choice that Doug Jones made.
I wouldn't be surprised, because
it's just incredible. Just the way that Kelpians walked.
It's Kelpians.
Just like this. Just
it's like so cute. Well, it's so cute. But you can tell he's walking upright, but there's just part of him that's still so limber. Oh, I loved it.
It's so great. Just the hand wave behind him is so, and it's always there. And
It's behind him. Yeah.
the hand
I
wave
loved it.
behind his little butt, like his little paddling.
How cool
So
that the
great.
show gave a moment to watch you walk and just to give that character a little detail.
Yeah.
I just love that so much.
It's so good. And the way that he has his hands kind of like when he's explaining something and he's being sincere, his hands are like on his chest. Like when Tarina calls him out, his hands are just like on his belly, and that's like kind of the stance he has when he's like, "Oh, I fucked up."
I know he was like a puppy that got corrected.
Yes. Saru is a gift. I'm gonna go from that amazing sin removal into something that just pisses me off. Let's go on 3. Okay, but when you mean 3, do you mean on 3 or 3 and then go? Can we stop with that joke? It's its own cliche. It's not funny. Even if you call back to it with your removing the barb out of his leg thing, we've done it. The on 3 joke has been done. It needs to die. There are certain jokes when we're writing Cinema Sins videos that we're like, let's put a pause on that for a year or 5, and then we'll come back to it. Stop it. It has been done. TV shows are not allowed to do the on 3 joke anymore.
Wow.
Ever.
And there you go.
Until I say otherwise.
Okay.
Your turn.
Okay. That was good. Yeah. What this is when Danae gets a message she has to look at.
Do it. Someone in the chat heard your phone vibrate. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, it was very predominant.
Why am I not getting messaged?
Because it was from my personal life. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have. I had to make sure that it wasn't about my little one.
Little boo.
You know, as a parent, you're always on. Anyway, I think I kind of like covered my frustrations through the whole thing. So
I've got more.
Well, why don't you go on?
So Jinaal set this part of the puzzle up 800 years ago because the lady has been waiting. The lady that currently has Bix has been waiting. So it's not like Jinaal is popping in every week or so, which means that 800 years ago, he set up the little like symbol on the rock next to the nest. Isn't it lucky that after 800 years, the cloaky birds are still laying their eggs there? That they came when eggs had been laid, unless they're laying eggs every day. It's after. Okay, fine, not impossible. But if I'm setting up a plan that has to last centuries, I'm not doing it like this, because what if somebody starts to build houses over that nest? What if it gets nuked? What if the birds just fuck off and aren't there anymore? What if the birds are all killed? What if they don't last? It is insane to me that this plan works and that this puzzle works. Even the fact that it's just underneath this rock thing. I was like, a breeze would have knocked that over. Like, is Trill really like geologically stable that nothing ever like happens or moves? Just what I would have given that 6 months at best before being stumbled upon.
Yeah.
So unlikely.
No, I don't think you're wrong, especially with the whole like egg thing. Unless they're laying eggs every week. Yeah. And this is just an ongoing part of how the cicadas work. This particular reptile, because it was very reptilian, they had like the eggs.
Yeah.
So this creature is constantly in life cycle, and it's not like a seasonal thing. Because usually it's a seasonal thing. You know, sea turtles return to the very beach they were born on because they had that internal piloting system by the magnetic system of the Earth somehow. Like,
pretty
Salmon awesome.
Doing the same thing,
but they don't do it all the time. So yeah,
very interesting.
Yeah.
And sure, maybe the Trills have like a geographical protection thing on that area, but governments change, and as can sacred spaces, etc. Yeah, really, really bugged me. I only had one more that was kind of like glaring to me.
Okay.
It was apparently when the scientist got killed by the technology from the progenitors, and the other scientists went back to the Federation and said, "Yep, shit out of luck, sorry." And the Federation was just like, "Okay, I guess we'll stop now." Like they believed them and didn't do any further research. They were just like, the scientist came back and was like, "Didn't find anything. Sorry, guys. Guess you'll just have to not keep looking."
And please don't ask where Frank is.
Years, right? Don't ask what happened to him. Mysteriously disappeared. And at no point over the next 8 centuries did they think to go back to the progenitor tech and think, you know what? Let's have another look. Let's try and find it again. Just, it's crazy, especially at the height of the Dominion War. If I was the Federation, I'd have been like, nah, y'all are full of shit. We're going to send someone else to find it before the Klingons or the Romulans or the Dominion find it.
A lot of the sins I'm looking at are actually ones we've kind of mentioned, or we can chat about them later. Let's see.
Nice.
I think we're good.
Okay. Well, with that, Ambassador, let's head over to the Ready Room and do a few predictions for next week. We'll beam over to the Ready Room.
Okay, I guess. Wait, I want a black spore.
You want a spore drive there? Okay, so I'm not changing the sound effects. we can pretend that we're spore driving over there. Welcome to the Captain's Ready Room, where we hear our predictions for the rest of the season and bask in our Q-like glory if anything we've predicted has come true. Let's quickly give some props to Wandering Winder, whose predictions we went, Jinaal specific predictions we went over at the beginning of the show. I mean, one of the crew will have a symbiont in them. No, sorry, didn't get that one.
But they do.
One of the crew will get a new symbiont in them. Didn't happen. I mean, ish. They got the personality of Jinaal,
that
but
definitely
not the
counts.
symbiont. No,
that definitely counts.
Count.
Yes,
no,
it does.
I'm in charge of points. No.
No, I am also in charge of points because I have a new point system, and it's called the Ambassador's Points, and I'm in charge of them, and that absolutely counts. Because no, it was their consciousness. That totally counts.
Yeah, I'm going to cut this out.
They weren't wormed.
Half a point.
That is a full-on point.
Lock and Mole will catch up with the crew of the Discovery. No, they were actually ahead of them. There was no catching up. Sorry.
You don't know that.
Being such a dick.
You don't know that. This show did not say when they arrived, so you don't know that.
I am confidently going to say they got there first.
Half a point.
No points. Symbiont will have specific knowledge of something to do with the mystery. Very nice.
I'm going to even go back and say this, because the show says that they arrived on Lyric at some point in the episode. Mm-hmm. So they had arrived at Lyric, and then they had quickly moved to... Or is Lyric Trill?
No. Lyric's a different place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were at Lyric, and then they weren't at Lyric anymore, which means they had to have arrived after them.
Yeah, but that's just based on like extrapolating and guessing and running algorithms. There wasn't like hard proof that they were there. So they just did their calculations wrong. Yeah, says me. Someone has to be in charge. But what is impressive is the symbiont will have knowledge of the puzzle and will have worked with the Romulan that they were chasing. That's great. They actually did work with the Romulan. Great prediction. And the next planet in the scavenger hunt will be Ferenginar. Sorry.
That's not it, though.
Maybe next week. Our predictions for this week, I got it wrong. It's not Dax. Sad face. You did get to see the Trill in the pool, so I think we gave you half a point for that. Next week, the episode is called Face the Strange. What are your predictions for next week based on that title?
Turn and face the strange changes. Oh my god, they're gonna bring David Bowie back to life next week.
Possibilities are endless. Bring anyone back. Do it. Maybe they'll get the remains of the Romulan and bring him back.
Face the Strange?
Changes.
So one of the themes that this there's several, but one of the themes that was kind of like touched on at this point by Jabba the Worm.
Jinaal?
Yep.
Yeah.
But also the other word.
Bix?
That's it. So Jinaal Bix was like
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks, thank you.
Oh no.
So when Jar Jar Binks was saying oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Total derail.
Why did we do this at the end? I'm glad we did this at the end of the episode.
Okay.
It's Jar Jar Binks. So glad he's finally in the Star Trek canon.
He says basically that he wanted to see how they would react in the face of like a creature that they don't understand. So that might directly play into next week's episode. And since I now know they're going to like a reptilian place that maybe does things very differently, maybe that's the next test, is to sort of look at a strange alien being or like their rituals or like what they do, and instead of judging them for it, try to accept them for it.
Yep.
That's my prediction for next week.
I think that's a great prediction. My overall prediction is that we're actually going to see the Zenkethi for once, which would be so much fun. And I think they're gonna end up teaming up with the Zenkethi ship, not the Gorn. I don't think they're anywhere near the Zenkethi. Outrageous, just an outrageous suggestion, Janae. Yeah, and I think they're going to end up teaming up. So I think we're going to get a good look at the Zenkethi. I think we're going to learn more about their culture, their society, and they're going to work together. The Zenkethi might be the ones that want to use it for evil and want to plot to destroy humans or something. I think we're going to find out why they're so isolated and why they want nothing to do with humans. And Burnham's going to have to negotiate some kind of truce between them, and Raynor's going to be like, well, let's just blow them up.
What if the weapon is powered by destroying one thing to create another? Wouldn't that be interesting?
Wait, say that again.
Like, I was just thinking about playing with the theme that if you wanted to use this progenitor weapon to create new life, you would actually have to take it from someplace else and like reallocate it.
Oh, that would be so
And that
cool.
would be part of the choice. I just had this idea of like, you see this planet and they're quote unquote bad guys. It's like, you know what? We could just suck this planet dry and then use it for this over here. So I wonder if that'll come into play too.
Matthew Mercer's going to be really pissed if that's the case, because that means Discovery is stealing his themes from Campaign 3. That's amazing. Love that. Send your predictions, if you have any, to captainspod@cinemasins.com. That's the best way to do it, or join in on the fun on the CinemaSins Discord in the Captain's Pod channel, discord.gg/cinemasins. But until next week, thank you for joining us. I'm Captain Ian, and I'm taking my permission to speak freely.
And I just sounded like a woo-woo asshole.
And you'd pick something from Tig. That's amazing.
It was either that or come on, Space Dad.
Yeah, come on, Space. I nearly did. I was promised chips. And live long and Podspar. Woo!
Trill Man.
Interesting. Trill Man.
How do they work?
How do they work? I think we explained how they worked pretty well.
You did great. And thank you, chat. That was great. Yeah.
Whew. I love explaining deep lore. That's fun.
I like learning about it. I like feeling the anger of learning. Like, I get so mad at my brain for not like, it's like, this should make sense, brain. And I get so angry because it's not making sense. And then it's like just tank drop down into self-doubt. And then this rise up.
Well, you pick up on a lot of stuff visually. Like when you watch content, you pick up on so much of what's being put in front of you. But when I found when I like audibly explain something, it's a lot more difficult. So I think it's just different styles of learning.
This is a cicada. You can see how they're kind of similar. They've got like the little wing thing going on.
That definitely feels deliberate.
But guess what is interesting about cicadas? They have broods, and they dig down into the ground, and they go dormant for a while. And then the broods will, at the right temperature and the right time, they'll dig up out of the ground, consume nature, dig back down, and then like it's like a cyclical thing.
Kind of crazy.
Billions of them are going to appear in a rare double brood.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And it's happening. It's going to happen soon. So in a matter of weeks, they're going to dig their way out of the underground. Now, the thing about cicadas that's interesting is they're actually going to be in my area. I don't know if this article is going to show like a map. I kind of hope it does. But look how big they are. They're really big. And then what they do is they kind of plant somewhere and they shed their exoskeleton. And so what you'll find, and growing up, I found them everywhere because they're in the Midwest, these huge husks. And I'm hoping that they'll actually happen because I can show them to you if you guys have never seen them before. But on the map that I was looking at, not on this one, but on a different map, look how big they are.
They're fucking huge. That's terrifying.
They are harmless. But they make, so the estimation is that the noise that they're going to make as they emerge is the same as a jet plane.
Hell yeah.
That's
awesome.
And this and they make this amazing like chirping noise at night that I used to sleep to. Let's
really
see.
cool.
But it's like let me see, cicadas map. Yeah, let's do this. Come on, let's go. So this is where we're going to be seeing the cicadas birth in the US. I'm telling you, okay, I don't want to see that shit. Just show me a picture. This is going to be so fun. Not if I was a farmer. Let me be clear.
Yes.
If I was a farmer, I'd be pretty pissed. But this is like,
sucks if you're nature.
Yeah. So, two separate groups of cicadas dubbed the brood X1X. I don't know I can't remember what that is. And the X1II are expected to show up and close the same time. It's the largest periodical cicada brood.
Oh, golly.
It's going to be crazy. Billions, if not trillions of cicadas.
Trillions. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a very rare coincidence because they're on a 13-year cycle. And on the first brood, on the second one, it's every 17 years. And they haven't done this since 1803.
Wow. Thanks, Obama.
These things are so funky looking. Look at that.
I can't. We're stuck on your map.
Sorry, guys. Oh, okay. What? Oh. Sorry, guys. Check this out. Look at that guy.
Oh, wow.
I hope this doesn't freak you guys out too much. I know people probably aren't super excited. So here's this map, and it shows you all these different broods. And see how, so in this area, you've got like the 13-year cycle down here, 2024 for this nice like light blue area. I'm in this area of the world right over here. And then the brown one is also 2024, so it's up here. So if you live like right here in Illinois,
holy shit,
you are literally the entire fucking state is covered in brood. So this entire part, all of the agriculture here is they basically are just growing corn for the for the cicadas.
Yeah. All of this is just all for the cicadas. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I thought you might find that interesting. And that's all I know. Welcome to Cicada Chat.
No.
Okay, so I saw someone post earlier that it is actually canceled. Right?
Well, not cancelled. It's finishing.
Yeah.
Cancelled has this connotation that it's unsuccessful.
Yeah, there was somebody posted about it, and let me go back and find it so I can put it up.
That sucks.
Well, yeah, absolutely, it sucks.
That sucks. Fucking hell.
Let's see
It feels like we just got it.
I thought that I saved it in the comments, but maybe I didn't save it in the comments. But anyway, yeah.
That sucks.
It does. It's expensive. Animation and all this stuff is expensive.
But everything is expensive. Like, you'll go then stop making content. Like the it's expensive rule annoys me because what are you replacing it with then? You're still making shows. Like, just fucking pay for it. Like, if it's not getting the views, fine. Then I get it. You have to have a return on investment. But with streaming, I don't know how you're justifying. Like, how is
Okay, but
anybody going to get invested
think
when you
about
keep
this.
stopping shows?
What if the people who are playing the characters don't have the time to play the characters? Like, there's a lot to consider we don't know.
Totally get it. Yep, could be it. But I'm too cynical. Like, I'm sure that it's actually Paramount is being dicks.
A lot has changed. We have a very, very different world. Like, I know it sucks whenever you have a show that you like that stops, but I'm sure they love to do it and they just can't for some reason. I do wish we could figure it out. Lower Decks made Nielsen's chart of the 10 most watched streaming original series over multiple weeks.
My cynical brain is that Paramount doesn't want to keep paying the actors because to get them to come back, you get paid more and more each season. So by the time you get to season 5 or 6, it's getting too expensive because they're profit hoarding bastards.
I think it's really great when you've had the ability to do something and people have loved it for a really long time. In the world of storytelling, where you have a series like this, personally, I like it when they stop because then it's got a beginning and a middle and an end. And I think some shows, I'm not saying that this is one of them, but some shows really suffer when it's just like, let's just keep going indefinitely, you know? And I think like while you have the sweet lightning in a bottle of really clever writing and great acting, you just do it really well for a time, and then you hope that another thing comes along that can do the equal brilliance. But yeah, I really hope that we get some more content from Star Trek. Because I think that's the fear, is that it's not going to be replaced with something else that is equally delightful. But maybe it will be replaced with something else.
More stuff will come. Star Trek isn't going to stop. I think Lower Decks is really fun, and I think there's a place for it. And I just don't think it needs to stop just yet. But there we go. There is another TV show coming called Starfleet Academy, and that's going to be set during the Discovery era. So it's going to take place after Discovery finishes.
Very cool.
Legacy's dead. Legacy isn't happening. Legacy is super dead. Legacy was never even alive.
What is Section 31?
So Section 31 is a Discovery spin-off movie, which will be led by Michelle Yeoh and follow Section 31.
Cool.
Which is a shady, secret Starfleet organization, like the Tal Shiar for the Romulans. The Federation has Section 31. But we don't really know when it's going to take place. We think it's taking place around the Pike era, but it could be a bit time travel-y.
That's pretty awesome.
But yeah, we'll definitely do a pod on it when that comes out.
You can't say that.
I want to. I'll do it on my own if I need to.
You definitely want to do a pod.
Definitely want to do a pod on it. I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah. Here's the tricky part, guys, is if it happens to be in a week where we don't have a show on, where we're doing a live watch along as it releases, it makes it easy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If we can plug it into like our regular schedule, then it's a lot easier. But having to do like a live show like this, where we're doing like a one that's releasing weekly and a movie, that's just too much.
Yeah, I think they'll release it when it's a movie, but it's not being released in theaters. It's going straight onto Paramount. So I imagine it'll be released between Discovery, Strange New Worlds. I think after Discovery finishes, but before Strange New Worlds season 3 comes out.
We will see. How long is this movie? Because I'm already watching an hour. So if it's about an hour-long movie, then yeah. If it's going to be like a 2.5-hour movie, I'm like, no.
No, I would guess 90 minutes, maybe hour 50, something like that.
I'm picky, guys. Also, we still have to work.
Yeah, we do.
I know. I'm sad too. It's really fun. Oh, Star Trek Fred, I'd watch. 3 hours. Let's do it.
Let's go. Just Fred. He's the best.
I really enjoyed that. So why did you have Fred on the screen the whole time? What was that about?
To honor him.
Just to distract me?
Yeah. Well, think about it. If I Google images of this week's episode, I'm going to get spoiled. So I have to use pictures from last week, don't I?
Well, maybe the
Unless I
chat
make
could
these
help us.
unless I make these graphics after we've watched the episode before we go live. I could do it, but that's really tight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be spoiled.
Okay.
I did have some others, but I just like sticking with Fred, to be
No,
honest.
I get it, because like we watch it and then we go live, so there's very little time. And if you Google Discovery at all, you're gonna see stuff.
Yeah, if I say Discovery episode 3, I would have seen. Well, nothing happens this episode, but I potentially in the future might see something.
Yeah, we do need to have a podcast producer. We really would be really fucking cool. But you know what? We don't. It's just us.
No. That's
Dollar
really
store data lore? What are you talking about,
Fly
Flyboy?
boy!
Oh my god!
Flyboy, honestly. Get out.
What are my opinions on Tilly? I really liked her this episode. I think that she obviously feels really confident in her position, that she would like call out a first officer like that. So she's pretty. I like that. I like it when someone can kind of press on authority and know that they're not going to get in a super amount of trouble enough to put their career on the line. But that was way out of line. I mean, that was like, you just don't know. You don't know who this person is. You don't know what Raynor's reaction would really be, because he's so new to Tilly. And if they know that his personality and his leadership style is more gruff, I would think that Tilly would be a little bit more afraid of calling him an asshole to his face, but only because she didn't have an extra word. She absolutely would have said it, I think, if she would have got there. It was the comedy that held that moment back and didn't let her say that he was, like actually call him a name. Yeah. And it works because I think the writers needed to work, obviously, and everything like that. But that was ballsy. And I don't know if it's because the show wants her to have a ballsy moment, because does she usually like that, or is that like out of her character?
So this is a lot about her growth. In season 1, she was a cadet and very, very shy, was full of energy. I think she has the first F-bomb in Star Trek history. But she's very she doubts herself a lot. And then through season 2, 3, 4, etc., she's evolved and grown. And now she's a teacher at Starfleet Academy. So this is a lot about where she is now.
I picked up that she was a teacher from the first couple of episodes, so that, and it's like she's come back to kind of help. And so it feels like I'm really confident in my job. I don't need to be here. I'm wanted to be here. I don't know if you guys have ever been in a position like that in a company where your job isn't in that space exactly. And so you're a little braver because you have a fallback plan. So she's clearly more comfortable saying some of those things because of that fallback plan, or because of this development in her personality, a combination of them both. Did he need that? No.
No, that's
he didn't need that.
A great moment for her. It does nothing for Raina.
Yeah. Did she need it? Apparently. And I think that she is preaching something that she's passionate about. And maybe the thing that really sung for me, honestly, my favorite part about how Tilly was in that, like, I didn't mind her being annoyed at his leadership style. I mean, we've all been annoyed at someone's leadership style and can relate to her being like, okay, sure, I'll go do that. And then turning and be like, oh my God. I totally get that. The part really, really worked for me that I had no real context for was when the rent guy came in and was super excited about the discovery, and then Raynor shut him down, and Tilly was really upset by that, because I didn't realize how valuable that would have been, for her to say, I haven't seen him that way in so long.
Yeah.
And that to me was the most important moment, because even her saying that is out of line in a way. But it showed that she really cares. It showed about the character, and
a lot
it
about
showed
Stamets as well.
and it showed about like that there is a reason to care about your crew enough to be willing to listen a little longer. Like if there is a reason to learn more about someone, it's so that you can recognize when there's a blip on the chart, and that would be a blip for him where maybe he's been really reserved and down. Now he's excited. So
and he doesn't really need a reason to not share. Like he doesn't share as it is. So you want to cultivate it when he is exciting, because that's when he does his best work.
Ultimately, I was like, oh, this is what the show is doing, but I thought it was out of line.
Yeah.
I thought it was out of line.
Yeah.
And she's not in trouble for it, but maybe next episode she will be. But then also the first officer was in a way out of line too, because he wasn't doing what the captain said until he knew that, and she's having to kind of fall in rank a bit. So it was awkward. I mean, I like seeing somebody get told off every once in a while, and clearly it was a fun moment. But yeah, but her character, what I've seen so far, I think I really like her. She seems like a dynamic character, because I've seen her be awkward with a potential love interest. I've seen her drunk. I've seen her break the law and hack a computer. I've seen her fall in line and in this scene. And each time it seems like she fits the role perfectly. So it doesn't seem like it's out of character for her.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying her so far, I think. Yeah.
I think you'd really enjoy her arc in season 1 of Discovery. It's a couple of people have alluded to it in the chat. She dips into they do this whole mirror universe thing, and the Tilly in that mirror universe is very different, and it's a lot of fun.
Listen, Nick, I'm going to get I hate Dax tattooed on my ass. And then it's once and for all done. I'm kidding.
Let's do it.
What do you think of the computer for Discovery? Oh, it's more of a character, isn't it?
Yeah, Zora.
It's more like a Zora.
Yeah, so Zora is an AI.
Let me guess, a fucking worm.
No. Zora is an AI that merged with a super computer being thing called Control that has all of this insane knowledge, and is basically the reason Discovery had to get sent to the future. Zora knows too much and would be a danger to the 2300s. So last season, Zora was kind of battling with, who am I? What rights do I have? And by the end of the season, decided, I'm going to live here now, and I'm happy being the ship's computer.
Weird. Okay.
I'm probably wrong. I can't remember. It's been a while. That was the plot of season 2.
Okay.
Hi, Amber.
So why? So the computer becomes too smart because it's like a sentient being?
Someone else is doing a better job of explaining it than I am. Nick said, no, Zora is sphere data from a billion-year-old sphere that Control wanted to steal before becoming sentient. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, hold on. Zora is the sphere data from a billion-year-old sphere.
Yeah.
That Control wanted to steal. I don't understand these words.
Yeah. Control is a computer thing that wanted to steal the sphere data to become all-powerful and all-knowing. And I think the sphere data realized it had to become sentient to protect itself, and then merged with Discovery's computer, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a super smart AI.
Okay.
That was season 2.
So, but they're not really like using it anymore, because I have heard them talk to Zora more like they talk to a regular computer.
Yeah, they'll use it to do a lot of programming. They'll eventually dip into the sphere data and say, yeah, the sphere knows about this thing that happened. But yeah, she had a bigger role to play last season, for sure.
Okay, so Control was the evil AI, and Sphere was the good one.
Yeah,
and Sphere melded with the computer on Discovery.
Yeah, correct.
So they had a big ass sphere. It was a big ass computer. Okay. And and Control, which was the bad one, was created by Section 31, which is a movie now.
Correct.
Apparently.
And it went rogue. Section 31 is the secret police.
Okay. Control was Section 31 nonsense, ended up sending Discovery into the future. Okay. So it's all Zara's fault that we're stuck in the future.
Basically, yeah, because
Holy
the
shit.
Sphere data was too dangerous to keep in the 2200s because Control might get hold of it again. So they sent it the fuck away.
So we have the Borg looming in the background always, and also now Control looming in the background always.
Well, everybody's fan theory was that Control would become the Borg, and that Control would eventually merge with a biological species and become the Borg as we know it. And when I said like last week, the problem with Discovery is that it holds on to its secrets, so you end up making something more fun in your head. When it eventually revealed that Control was just fucking nothing, everyone was disappointed. Like, you wanted Control to be the Borg.
Zora only became Zora when Discovery was refit with future tech. Okay, so the technology was in the computer, but then they got fit with future tech from the future, and then Zora's like, I can talk now!
Yeah, it sounds right.
Okay, yeah. The future tech brought her to life. Oopsie!
Oopsie doodle.
Oopsie, we have a so hold on. So there's a really powerful robot in that can control Discovery if it wanted to. Then, like,
yes.
It doesn't.
Yeah, and that was problem that was a problem in season 4. She was like, Zora was shutting down Discovery, saying, "You can't do this; it's not right." And then they eventually put some rules in place. Yeah, and she gets emotional and stuff because she there was like a hull breach going on, and she refused to like seal off a section because it would kill some people. And then eventually did it, and it killed some people. And she was like, I feel responsible for the shipmates that I couldn't save. And it sent her into a big old spiral.
You know how we freaked out when Data took over the Enterprise because he was too powerful? This feels like the...
Times 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, Zora has decided to bury or archive some of her own emotions to keep things going.
No, she's learned to trust the crew. So a lot of the decisions she was making, as Link says, she worked something out as part of the puzzle and said, if I tell you this, if I give you these coordinates, you're going to go there, which is going to get you killed, potentially. And so the crew is just like, yeah, but we have to take that risk. That's part of the job. So Zora eventually was like, okay, I love you, but you have to be able to make your own decisions. She was being very protective of everybody.
So is she...
What if an AI was too protective?
Is she also protective of herself? Because if she exists inside Discovery, wouldn't she want to not put herself in harm's way?
Correct, but she was putting the crew first. She was like, it doesn't matter about me as much. My job is to protect you people. And if I give you these coordinates, you might die.
Holy shit. Zora is now designated as a specialist enlisted in Starfleet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She just doesn't have a body. I think they offered her a body and she said no.
Well, we know Golem bodies are real, so...
Right?
They decided that we have to trust her so she can become her best self. And so she is the ship, essentially.
No, not really. No, she's her own thing. She just lives in the ship.
So
the ship is her body.
If she wanted to not be in the ship, does she have a choice?
Yes.
And what would that look like? Like going on to like a little...
Yeah, going to a
like
robot.
Like a little chip. Oh, she's going to go to Fred!
She could go to Fred!
There you go.
Fred's body. There we go. Full circle.
Oh, wow. This is kind of cool. I sort of like that.
It's really cool.
She created a kill me button to make them feel better.
Yeah, when they got to like... Because they were... So, you remember Kovic from last week, David Cronenberg? He... The guy with the white hair and the glasses, he had the red directive.
Yes.
Infinity Cube thing.
Yes.
He turned up and said, I hear that Zora is refusing to take orders. We're going to decompile her. Like, we can't allow this. We'll delete her because the ship can't operate this way. It's too risky. So she says, well, to make you feel better, have this, and replicates a kill button and says, if you press that button, it will kill me. And the fact that I'm giving you this means that you can trust me because I
So-
know that you'll delete me.
So where is that button?
Discovery and Kovic eventually agreed they didn't need it and destroyed it.
The good thing that destroying the button didn't set it off, I guess.
Right.
One of the problems, says LBX, is with the Borg, is the Borg started as X. And then the Borg's story involves every time a new episode, book, or film is released involving the Borg. So at some point, it becomes convoluted, and some of the stuff being added will start to conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's how every D&D game goes, too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I am shook. I've just discovered that Stamets is played by Anthony Rapp and not Alan Tudyk. What is life? What is life?
I see the similarity.
Wait, I want to look this up. What is this?
Alan Tudyk is Wash in Firefly.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
they do look so similar, don't they?
Very similar. I want Alan Tudyk in Star Trek. Hard.
Oh, wait, there has to be a comparison of this.
Yeah, they do look very similar.
Let's see. Rapp and Tudyk. Oh, yo, guys. Yo. Okay. I'm going to look at this picture. I love that I get to just look at this.
Same person.
Look at that.
Crazy. Look at that.
Look how similar they are.
That's amazing.
Right, Sarah?
That's an unusual facial structure. Like very like iron jaw, pokey like cleft chin, like very distinct facial structure. That's amazing.
Their eyes are it's so similar.
Yeah.
Have they ever been in the same room together?
Fair.
Great question.
Think they have. Yeah. This is what happens when you experiment with a spore drive.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Open image in a new tab.
Isn't that original Discovery uniform beautiful? Look
at these two. See, this angle doesn't really showcase their similarities as much. So isn't it interesting how when you change the camera angle or the lighting, you can tell their differences pretty strongly?
Well, we're seeing the left side of his face and the right side of Wash's face.
It's pretty crazy.
Wind. Curse you!
Don't say those words.
I know.
Yeah, there are some lookalikes, but this side by side is freaking me out.
Curse you! Sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Their brows are similar. Their eye spacing is similar. Their nose. Look at their lip. It's just like this straight line across. Right here on their cheek, they've got like the little. Oh, so crazy.
Oh no! What happened to Wash? Oh, okay.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. As always, this show is so delightful because of you. What?
How do you clean a metal pole? Run it through
that's
the wash?
Horrible. Nick, you should be ashamed of yourself.
That's amazing.
And also, that's great. We are all crying on the inside for that one.
I love it.
Hated that part of the movie.
Well, if they cancel all of the Star Trek, we'll do a Firefly wash through. Watch through. Sorry.
If they cancel all of Star Trek?
Yeah.
Next week is a regular week for us, so we'll be back live with you on our regular schedule. And it looks like, I believe, Recotopia will also be live at that time. We would like to encourage you guys to consider, you don't have to, consider joining CinemaSins Patreon.
Do it.
We release a Cinmentary every month where we go back over some of the writing that we've done as a group and then watch it and crack up and talk about writing things. But then we also have like a fun little podcast that we do with, which is based on your questions. And they're quickly becoming my favorite. I sort of want to do more than one a month because they're really, really fun. And you guys have really great questions.
Yeah, they're fun.
So that's at Sin Club. Thank you for posting the link, Slab. You can go to patreon.com/cinema. Look how I spelled CinemaSins. I got to fix that.
You got to. That's not how that is.
That is not. That is not it at all, guys.
Nope. That's not right. Whoopsie.
What if I only care about and want to support Captain's Pod? That's a really great question. We do not have an individual show support. But if you want to support us, one of the things that you can do is obviously show up for as many live shows as you can. And where we really need help is going out and talking about our podcast on forums. So there's lots of Star Trek chats on the internet community, but not a lot of people know that we exist. And there's probably other people just like you who don't mind having a little fun going over the sins of the show and having this discussion. And honestly, if there's anything we can ask a really strong Captain's Pod fan to do, it is to tell people about our show, because the number one way for others to find us is word of mouth. So I was actually browsing through Reddit the other day on some Star Trek stuff, and Captain's Pod was mentioned, and I was like, oh my God.
Yay,
so
woo.
Yeah, it only had 3 likes, but I didn't care. Those 3 likes were like gold. So just talk about us, be out there and chat. I don't know how we've never noticed that, Slab. That's so silly. I need to go change it.
It's amazing. It's so funny.
Do you take suggestions on shows to review like this? So as a crew, as the CinemaSins writers, we are not planning on doing another podcast like this. But we do take suggestions because there might be a really great suggestion. But the idea to kind of talk about and review content that we love does pop up. So, for example, Chris and Jonathan, who are also 2 writers for CinemaSins, they did a podcast series on their love of Bond and James Bond movies and content there. So you can go and look up that. In fact, if you want to look at any of our podcasts, you can just search for CinemaSins in your podcast player, and it should pop up with all of them that we do on an official regular basis through our jobs. But we would love to do more. It's just we also have to write all the content that releases every week. And so we have to be really careful and precious with our time. We release 5 videos a week, 2 podcasts a week, sometimes 3 podcasts a week, depending on the season. So we're constantly doing all of those things. But we love reviewing what you enjoy. That's obviously a really important part of it too. So hopefully we can do more and more and more. So what if I use gold squeezed latinum?
Yeah, instead of gold pressed. You should try gold shaken latinum, not stirred.
And that's all you need to know. So we'll be back for another live show next week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and being such a huge support of what we do. It means the world to us. And we hope you are continuing to enjoy the podcast. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I'm here to be your alarm. I am here to alarm you.
Season 1, episode 3, Red Directed.